Peace. Today's episode of the Uplifted Being podcast has been brought to you by the Educated e-commerce online learning platform, presented to you by serial entrepreneur, author, and podcast host of the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint podcast, Jay Jones. Learn how to build a six-figure e-commerce business in 26 weeks with the Educated e-commerce course today. Hit the link in the show notes or log on to educatedecommerce.net to sign up and get started now, family. Peace.
Greetings and welcome to the Uplifted Being podcast, family. It's time to sync up and be uplifted.
You know that feeling. That feeling, you can't describe it really. It's just like,
but you feel it. But you feel it. But you feel it. But you feel it.
This is how we do it over here at the Uplifted Being show.
Right. They say once you find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe. Find your vibe, you find your tribe.
I have to be it. Rather than I have to have it or I have to do it. It's like I have to be it. I have to become it. I have to be the change that I want to see.
You realize that that's a reflection of you, and what they do, you can also do.
The tangible versus the intangible, and as we know, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not real.
Find your vibe, you find your tribe.
But you feel it.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it light.
Peace and blessings, family. It's Sister Angela, and welcome to the Uplifted Being show. Woo-hoo. I'm thrilled to welcome you back to another show. We have a wonderful lineup for you today. A very special guest. I won't give it away just yet. But if you're joining us here for the first time, a special, warm, loving, uplifted, light welcome to you. We are all about anything and everything to remind you, not teach you, not preach to you, to remind you of the powerful creator that you are, that each and every one of us is. So, kick back, sit back, relax with us, vibe with us as we get into this episode. But not to keep it long-winded, I'm going to pass over from here in London, England, the UK, to another one of my co-hosts, hailing over there from Toronto, Canada.
Peace, family. What's good? It's your brother Brian Ni Akoboy Doku, also known as Melanin Rich. And man, we back, baby. The Uplifted Being show is up in this. And yeah, we waiting for brother Dwayne. He might join us, he might not. But we got a special jam-packed show for you today. We got a special guest who brings a lot of value to the table, so y'all get ready, family. As a matter of fact, let me just get right into it. Alright, we got a beautiful sister. She's a mother, a wife, an educator, an author, an entrepreneur, all of the above, you know what I mean? And you know, she got a couple books, man. I don't want to start listing them off. You're gonna go to her website and check her out, and you know, you're definitely gonna feel it when she comes on. So without no further ado, the Uplifted Being show brings to you Sister Abby Ayoola.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be on here with you guys, you know, trying to educate people about health and nutrition and, you know, just trying to help my people out.
We appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So, sister, for our listeners, why don't you just give us a quick intro, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. So my name is Abby Ayoola. Well, Ayoola, but because, you know, we're in the Western world, I say Ayoola. So I'm an author. I hold a weekly workshop about nutrition. So it's called Food for Beauty and Health, because I believe food is the best thing like you can do for yourself, like eating like vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, seeds. Those are the things you can eat in your put into your diet that will help you with whatever, whether it's for beauty or for health. So that's my belief, and that's why I've written a book called Africanizing Vegan Food, which means exactly what it says, putting a little twist of African into the vegan, into the vegan cuisine, because a lot of Africans believe that veganism is not for them, or they can't give up their meat, or they don't want the taste of vegetables, or they won't feel full enough or satisfied. But I'm trying to show you that you can be satisfied, full, and healthy, and eat tasty food while being vegan and African. So that's why I wrote the book Africanizing Vegan Food.
Here.
To show you guys that you can be vegan, African, eat tasty food, healthy food, and love life.
Ashe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny. We were talking before we got on the show that, Brother Brian and I are, Western-born Africans from Ghana. And yeah, the the reaction you get when you tell our fellow people that you don't eat meat, doesn't usually go down too well.
Yeah, I know, trust me.
It doesn't go down too well, but people look at you.
Yeah. Even with within my family alone, when I tell them, please try to stay off meat, or even if you eat meat, eat it with vegetables, there's this thing called food combining, where you're not supposed to be eating heavily starch food with heavily starch protein. So potato, steak, hamburger, chicken and rice, chicken and potato,
wow.
Those egg and potato, those are the things that we're used to eating in Africa, right? But that's the thing, you're not supposed to eat those two together at one meal. You're supposed to eat starch with vegetables, protein with vegetables. So if you like fufu, you can definitely eat fufu with okra or ewedu, which is jute leaf, and spinach, stuff like that. You can have it with the fufu. And then if you want to eat meat, you can have the meat itself with the spinach and maybe a plantain or yam, stuff like that. So there's different ways that you can go about it. Even if you don't want to give up meat, you can at least help your system digest the food properly. Because the reason why I'm saying starch and protein don't mix is because starch needs an alkaline state to digest in your system, right? But then meat, protein needs acid state to digest in your system. So if you're eating meat and starch together, your body gets confused. It's okay, which state should I be in to digest the food that I just had, right? So it gets confused. So it just brings in the alkaline, the acid, and then both mix together. And what happens, your food just becomes sludge. It doesn't get digested properly. You're not able to get the nutrients from the food that you just ate, and you feel tired. That's why whenever you eat rice and chicken or really heavy food, you feel tired. We call it niggeritis, right?
The itis.
The itis. That's exactly why it happens.
Okay.
That's why it happens, because your body is confused. It's okay, which stage should I be in, alkaline or acid? So that's why that happens.
Wow.
Let that marinate, family.
Yep.
I had no idea.
Well, now you know. But at least if you're vegan or vegetarian, you don't have to worry about that, because most of the food you be eating anyways is going to be plant-based, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that. But if you're not, then you have to make sure you eat starch with vegetables, protein with vegetables, but not together.
So I have a little confession to say, Abby. As much as I love the vegan cuisine and I love the vegetarian cuisine, I eat the meat.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Spoken like a true African. Spoken like a true African guy. I love my meat.
You know, I'm kind of light on it. Like I'm predominantly plant-based. I can't lie, but you know, I still partake in the flesh.
Yeah. Even if you do, just make sure you eat it with vegetables, with salad, you know?
Yeah.
So your body can actually digest it, because the meat is like a dead carcass, right? So there's no enzymes in it to help you digest that food, right?
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you eat it with vegetables. That will help your body to digest it properly.
Definitely.
And does it matter? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say, and does it matter from your perspective whether the vegetables are cooked or raw, or is just as long as they're vegetables, it's fine?
As long as it's vegetables, it's fine. Yeah.
I think you touched
as
on
long
something.
As it's a vegetable, it's fine. So it can be cooked.
So cooked.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah. So cooked or raw is fine. No, I was going to say that you touched on something interesting. Well, both of you, with Brother Brian saying how he has a confession to make. He's still,
yeah.
But what that throws up is, you know, these days people's views on how we eat and what we eat. You know, before. And to a certain extent, it probably still is there, you know, the way people look at or used to look at veganism or vegetarianism, like, you know, what's wrong with you? Like you said, we still have that to a certain extent in amongst our, you know, in our culture, amongst our people, you know, it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Don't eat meat, you know? However, specifically in the West, I'm sure you can relate, you know, how the shift has been made to people eating more, becoming more vegetarian, more vegan, and some people that you might call extremists now kind of, you know, damning or slamming people who eat meat. You see? What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. They're extreme because they're so passionate about, because they know what eating meat does to your body, especially to the black man and black woman, you know, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the cancer, the leukemia, all of that, it dates back to your diet, you know? So because they're just, I don't think they're extremists, they're just passionate because they want you to listen and, you know, learn and actually follow the lifestyle of plant-based, because they know the benefit that a plant-based diet can do for you. You know, all this high blood pressure and stuff can be avoided. You don't have to have high blood pressure or diabetes. It's all diet based, so it can be avoided. So they're just passionate about it. Like even me, like I won't say I'm an extremist, but if I see any of my family members eating meat, like I kind of get mad, like, wow, you don't know what you're doing to your body, man. Like, stop it, you know? But that's just in my head. I don't say it out loud. Yeah, so it's just passion, you know, because you want people to eat healthy and you don't want people to have high blood pressure. You know exactly what happens. Like some people die from brain aneurysm just from having high blood pressure that they didn't really tend to, you know. So those are things that can be avoided. You know, if you can avoid it with diet, why not? You know, why not do it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I asked the question because I'm sure we've talked about it on previous episodes, but I know of an example of this woman, Brother Nee. I don't know if you told the story. You might remember this story, but you know, of a woman who I think she used to work in a fast food joint or something. So she was, you know, selling or making, you know, burgers every day. So she was literally eating burgers every day, but because she used to drink like water. She used to drink a load of water, like a few gallons of water a day or something. Like her health was fine. Do you know what I mean? She was absolutely fine. So I just wonder where we get that balance between, you know, we have the information about what certain foods can do to us, but, you know, how we balance that with sometimes our intention you know, and how we feel about the food that we're eating. Because we often talk about, you know, if you feel guilty for eating something, that will actually cause you more damage than somebody that just enjoys their food and be like, yeah, I'm good with this. I'm going to eat this and enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, it's all about moderation too, right? Like, the reason why most people eat not in moderation is because that's what they're used to. Like, for example, before I became vegan, all I ate was pretty much meat, right? Like meat and rice, meat and potatoes, meat and spaghetti. There was meat in my diet every day. But since I became vegan, I noticed I was eating more variety of foods that I didn't even know existed before, you know? So I had more varieties. My mind was more open-minded to try new food because I have no choice. All I ate, you know, every day was chicken, or it was beef, or it was fish or egg. You know, that's all I had, really and truly. But when I became vegan, then I had to like cook more, number one, and number two, I had to open my mind to every like possibilities of food. So that's what the difference is. Like, you're right, you have to enjoy what you eat it, but then you also have to have variety also. That's the key, having a variety in your diet.
I love that you mentioned that, because usually, I don't know if it's so much the case, but I know there's still people that think like this. Some of our elders included, is like, you know, the minute they hear that you have become vegetarian or vegan, you know, that age old argument, it's like, well, are you, you know, where are you getting your protein from? You know, oh, your diet's going to be limited. So it's fantastic that you say that actually when you became vegetarian / vegan that actually your variety in your food increased, because usually people will tell us the opposite.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, your diet, your variety increases as a vegan vegetarian. But if you're not, then it's just limited to that meat stuff, like chicken, fish, egg, shrimp. That's all you eat. Like, for breakfast, you probably have egg and toast. For lunch, you have chicken. For dinner, chicken and rice. You know, so that's you're actually limited if you eat meat than if you actually eat more plant-based. Then you have more variety, and you do get protein from plants. I don't know why people keep thinking you can't get protein from plants. You can, like beans, kale, like nuts, seeds, quinoa. There's so many food that even has more protein in it than beef or chicken. Like, that's just the reality. And your body can only process a certain amount of protein at a time. So even if you're eating too much protein, it's not good for you because your body can't even process that protein at the time. So people that take protein supplements, protein shake, protein this, like, you're doing your body more harm than good because your body can't process that much protein at a time. So that's one thing you have to consider. You don't need that much protein anyway.
All I need is my hemp seeds.
Yes, hemp seed, exactly.
That's all I need.
That's all you need. Trust me, like, there's so many plants that have protein in them naturally. Like, you don't need protein.
Yeah, for real. No, I was laughing because I was thinking, yeah, not all you need, because obviously you need to have it in moderation, isn't it? So you can't just rely on your hemp seeds.
Monday.
Exactly. Hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia, all of them, they have protein in them. Almonds. Yeah. Like, there's protein in all those things. So you don't need beef or chicken like that, like the way you think you do, you know?
Yeah. But I'm telling you, food, it's like, there's so much information out there. We often talk about this. There is so much information out there about everything, but particularly about food, and everything seems to be changing, or at least we're finding out more, you know, more about it. So it's difficult sometimes for people, for us, to know which way to go, especially in terms of what's in our food. My thing is that, listen, you can't really, my personal view is that you can't really vouch for anything, how great it is or not, really, unless the only surefire way to do that is unless you grew the thing yourself. You saw the process from the beginning to the end. But otherwise,
Yeah.
You're
right. The optimal health, the optimal place that you want to be in your life is to be able to grow your own food. That's the optimal. If you can do that, then you're golden. You are golden.
Gold plated.
Right. Yeah, because you are right. You don't know what's in your food because you're not the one planting it or cultivating it. So you are right about that. And make better options from those options, right? So that's the thing we can do for now until you're able to grow your own food and herbs and all that stuff. Yeah.
But I guess then the lesson is, like you said, I think what I'm taking from what you said is that just educate yourself as best as you can, and not everybody's going to agree with your food choice, but if you're okay with it and you're getting, I guess, moderation and variety, then,
exactly.
There's got to be something for that.
Yeah, and the reason why there's so much information and confusing information out there is because companies that sell like meat, dairy, and all that, of course they want you to be confused. So if anyone says, "Oh, this is actually good for you, but this is not," then you'll be like, "But I don't know. There's so much information out there. I'll just give up and eat whatever I want." So that's the kind of mindset they want you to have. They want to confuse you, so you just be like, "Oh, whatever, man. We're all gonna die anyway, so I'll just eat whatever I want." But that's that's their plan. So you have to be the one to take your own health into your own hands, because if you don't, nobody else will. Not the government, not your parents, not your kids, not your husband. You have to take your own health into your own hands.
No, that's perfect that you said that. I recently got really confused. I don't know where this video originated from, if it's from the UK, from the States, wherever. But I recently saw a video that's now doing the rounds of, I think it's of Black women talking about skin cancer and the position that actually, we believe because we're melanated, we don't need to wear sunscreen. But this video is saying that no, actually you do need to wear sunscreen, otherwise you're going to catch you're going to get skin cancer. I'm like, what? Wow, some people really want to flip the script and confuse us, because you just think, so the whole of, the
Africa,
the whole of Africa and the other melanated, Asia as well, the people that have much more melanin, so existed for how long without sunscreen?
Exactly. That's exactly the way you have to think, that why all of a sudden we need sunscreen as Black people or pigmented people, when like people survived way back then, even now without the sun. Like, what sunscreen? Like, we as Black people, because our melanin is at the number 6 and 5, like we need the sun as our energy. Like, that's where we get our energy from. And that's the reason why most Black people that live in North America or Europe or wherever there's not that much sun, we get sick and depressed a lot more than people that actually live in Africa. The reason being because our vitamin D level is very low. We don't get enough vitamin D to help our body to heal itself, to get our mental health properly. So that's like, it's all a marketing gimmick to make more money, of course, because they know most Black people don't wear sunscreen. So of course they're going to put a Black person on the screen to kind of appeal to the Black people that, oh, you need to wear sunscreen or you get skin cancer. But it's like, that's not for us, man. I'm just saying, like, I'm good. Like
I'm like, well, to each his own. But I saw that and I was like, wow. Because already this is slightly going off topic, but already I don't know if you've had to have these conversations, but with schools, it's like, if you bring your child to school and they don't wear sunscreen, they're not allowed to go outside and play. I'm like, no, that's not happening.
Exactly. Like I need the sun. Like my melanin needs the sun. Other people might burn and have scars or whatever when they go on the sun. That's their genetics, whatever. But I don't put everyone under one blanket and think everybody needs a sunscreen or not, because we're not, even though we're all human race, but we're the same, but not the same, like our race plays a big role in the way our genetics are and what kind of food we eat, how much sun we need, and, all that plays a role. So we as Black people have to find out what's good for us and do what's good for us instead of listening to people that are just generalizing everybody into one category. It doesn't work like that.
That's so powerful. It's so powerful you say that, because for some people, it's probably a lot better for them to have a lot of dairy and meat and all of that coming from wherever they come from. Whatever genetics they have. But I mean, us being the original melaninated people, like you said, we need the sun, and that's one of the things about having a plant-based diet. Most plant-based foods eat the sun directly, so it's like you're getting sunlight through the plant. Like, you know what I mean? You're getting that.
That's the connection,
And so to eat the meat is to be like 2-3 steps removed.
Yeah.
And then, I hear stories about people that are, get ready for the spooky stuff,
Go on, hit us with it.
They say there's people out here who just eat the sun. Like, they sun gate.
I see what you mean. Okay.
I've heard about that, so I don't know how factual and actual that is, but you know what I mean? I couldn't like discredit it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but going back to what Sis Abby was saying about everything, because that's the other thing, and it kind of touches on all those off tangent with the sunscreen thing. It's like you saying eat the sun. It's like melanated people, we come from the sun. So because we come from the sun, there's no need for us to bask in the sun. It's just where we are. But when you take things to the other extreme and you plant yourself in the sun to bake, that's not going to be a good thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, if you're going about your business, you're working, you're doing this, you're doing that, fine. Even us, I have friends, I'm sure you can all relate, you have friends wherever they are, Nigeria, Ghana, wherever, and it's like, I was just speaking to a friend the other day, it's like, because he's complaining, actually, he doesn't like the heat. I said, so how do you cope when you go back to Nigeria? He said he goes from aircon to aircon, from car to, to the hotel.
I know.
It's just like, so it's, although we come from the sun, it's like, it doesn't mean that we want to spend all our time in the sun.
Exactly.
Like, our skin doesn't need that either. Just needs optimal exposure to unlock the melanin.
1 hour,
and then
2 hours max. That's it. That's all you need. 1 to 2 hours a day. That's all. So your vitamin D level can be high. That's all you need, man. You don't need to like bathe in the sun and stay in the sun for so long. No, 1 or 2 hours a day is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So eat in the sun. Yeah. Interesting.
There's even a documentary called Eat the Sun.
Are you serious?
I
better look that up.
There's a documentary called Eat the Sun, so you could check that out,
I'll check it out.
It's kind of interesting. I don't want to give it away, but it's kind of interesting.
It's so cool. So just winding back to the main topic of this show about, and especially related to Sis' book, Africanizing Veganism. Sis, what led you to write that book? How did you get into that way of eating and, making the link between how we eat and actually we need to go it's healthier for us to go vegan, but how we make it still be part of our culture, as it were.
Yeah, so I became vegan July 2017 after I saw the documentary What the Health.
Okay.
So that documentary changed my whole perspective on eating meat and diseases and heart attacks and just the way the whole industry works. It turned me off completely. So I was like, you know what? I have to take my own health into my own hands. Like, I'm not going to wait for no government or anybody else to tell me what's right or what's wrong, because there's always a study coming out every year about, oh, alcohol is good for you. Well, but no, it's not. Wine is good for you, but no, it's not. Like, there's always so much confusion. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to do what's right for me. So I'm going to just go plant-based and actually eat food that I can pronounce, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, food that I can actually see in my hand, you know? Like, not some processed stuff. So that's what made me go vegan. And then what made me write the book, Africanizing Vegan Food, is because my family members, okay, my friends and families, they eat, like, whenever we have like a family gathering or anything, it's always chicken or beef or pork and I'm just like, yo, guys, would you rather have diabetes? Like my dad has diabetes, high blood pressure. My cousin has high blood pressure. My mom has diabetes and high blood pressure. You know, they have all these things wrong with them, and they're taking a bag of pills for them, but they don't see the connection between their diet and what's going on in their body. So I'm trying to tell them that, you know, your diet is directly connected to your diabetes and your high blood pressure, but they're not trying to hear it, you know? So I was like, you know what? Let me write a book that will include Nigerian food, right? But it's vegan, you know? So, like, for example, there's a recipe in there called the beef stew, but instead of using beef, I use seitan. Seitan is like a gluten flour, okay? So it tastes just like meat, looks like meat, everything meat, you know? And you can make suya with that, you can make steak, you can make whatever you want with seitan, okay? So there's a recipe in there with seitan. You can use mushrooms, young jackfruit, tempeh, you know, like all those things they mimic the taste of meat and the texture of it. So it's not really the meat that you're missing, it's the taste and the seasoning. So once you can season your food properly, you wouldn't even miss no meat. Like, and what I did was, all this food that I was used to, like if it's jollof rice or spinach or egusi or whatever, like I just make like the vegan version. Instead of using meat, I use the seitan, you know? And I found that cooking was faster for me because, you know, the typical African dish takes you like 2-3 hours just to cook. So you know what? Like the vegan version of it is like 30 minutes max, you're done. You know, why waste so much time in the kitchen cooking something that's not good for you anyways, where you can spend less time, like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, cook the sauce up, and it's good for you, you know? So that was my reason behind it. Like, I'm trying to show especially my family members, like this book was written for my family members, to be honest, because I was trying to show them that, you know what? You can be a vegan and still eat your Nigerian food. Like, you know, that's what I was trying to show them. So, but it still didn't work. I'm just like, whatever. I'm trying my best, you know, so I can only do so much. You have to be willing to change for yourself. So if you're not willing to change, then there's nothing I can do. Even like, if you want like a fishy taste, if you want like fish, you can use seaweed. You know, seaweed is a perfect example. Like, it tastes like fish, you know, because it's from the sea. Just like the same way the fishes are from the sea. So there's so many things you can do to get your craving. If you're craving fish, you can use seaweed. You can use so many things. If you're craving beef, you can use seitan. There's so many things you can do So there's no excuse as to, oh, I like my meat. It's all about the seasoning. Okay?
Okay. I'm still trying to get over this. Did you say Satan?
Satan, like S-E. No, it's S-E-I-T-A-N. Satan. Satan, not Satan.
That's for me. The devil is alive.
Satan. No, it's Satan. I know it sounds like Satan, but it's not.
So it says
S-E-I-T-A-N.
S-E-I-T-A-N.
T-A-N, yeah.
I have to look up that one. Wow. I was just checking. We're not eating the devil's food. But
No. No, we do not do that.
So
No devil in this place. Mm-mm. We cast any devil out in Jesus' name.
hey.
So there's one thing I always tell people, you know, when we have these discussions, and what I always say is, like, you know, have you ever ate meat without the seasoning?
Exactly.
Have you ever just ate meat without any seasoning, no salt, no anything, no herbs, no seasoning? No? And nobody really says yeah.
Exactly. It's all about the seasoning.
And all the seasoning is what?
Yeah.
It's plant-based.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you.
Or the other, you know, point I'll talk to people about is, like, you know, all the carnivores in nature, none of them cook their food, none of them season their food. No, none of that. They go for the neck, they take down the prey, and then they start devouring, you know, the flesh like that.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, if that was truly our nature, you know, we'd have serious claws and serious teeth that could pierce through skin.
Exactly. And the one thing I usually say is, like, go read Genesis 1 verse 29, I think it is, when God was making heaven and earth, and after the 6 days, it said, I give the herbs, seeds, and plants or something of the trees as your food, or something related to that. You know, and that was in the beginning. So in the beginning, that's what God intended for us human beings to eat. You know, but it's just like over time, you know, other people came, you know, other cultures, other religions, and blah blah blah, and started introducing meat. I think meat was first introduced in the after Exodus, like Leviticus, I think, when some of Aaron's kids ate meat, and God got mad at them for eating meat. And then after, it told Moses, you know what? You guys can eat meat, but only certain type of meat, like
stay away from the swine.
Yeah, it says stay away from the swine and animals that have hoof or something.
Yeah, hooves, cloven hooves. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's there in the Bible. So that's to show you that in the beginning, God did not intend for us to eat meat. That wasn't his intention. But because he had to, like, I guess, please human being just a little bit. So it's like, you know what? You guys can eat this kind of meat, but not this. Or, you know? So I'm going with the beginning. Because when he first created me, he wanted me to be eating plants. So I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, but what I wanted to touch on is I hear the I hear the frustration when you're saying that actually you wrote the book for your family or some of your family members, and they ain't hearing you. But I'm like, do you know what? We can only do our best, and even though it may not at this stage, you know, serve the people we most want to serve, those that are closest to us, you serve the coming generations far greater, those that haven't had the conditioning. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, they already come up with, we have all these great recipes that we can use. So that's even their norm. I was watching over here in the UK on the news, they had this 11-year-old boy on TV who is a vegan chef. And, you know, he makes these little sauces and his foods for the family. And he's only 11. Do you know what I mean? And he's come up, you know, the parents have really supported him, you know. So the young ones coming up now, they're on some next level. I mean, my children, they're vegetarian. I guess we're vegetarian. I eat a little bit of fish, hypocritically. They're vegetarian. But I always say to them, listen, your children for such short period of time, when you grow up, you can make your own decision, eat what you want. If you want to go eat meat, that's your business. But you know, for now, we think for your body is still developing, blah, 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 you know, let's do this. So all that to say, sis, your work is not wasted, because there's plenty people that you're serving by putting that stuff out there. Do you know what I mean? I think I need to get me a copy and change up, get some more variety, because we'll eat beans, we'll eat rice. So we'll have a lot of beans, especially for the protein point, apart from, you know, trying to do smoothies and stuff, but it's always good to have variety and eat seasonally. I think that's the hardest thing I find, like trying to eat within the seasons, because nowadays, because of abundance, so-called abundance, you can get everything anytime, and it's like, well, we're not supposed to be eating anything all the time. Do you know what I mean? We're not supposed to be eating certain things at certain times. So
but how do we know which season works with our body? That's the thing. Like, I guess it's just try and error, right? Because you don't know which food your ancestors were eating or what season they were following, you know. So
I think sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, and and it depends. It's a choice as well, but you know, we talk on here about Dr. Sebi, and you know, his prescribed, you know, eating, and you know what our ancestors were actually eating. You know, if you subscribe to what he says, our ancestors weren't eating yam. We're like, what? What do you mean they weren't eating yam?
Yeah,
it's like, you know, it's like trying to go. It's like try and go back to the original food. You know, so some people have done the work for us. We just, if we're really that way inclined, we will go and find out and see, you know, what suits us, what we can get with. But coming back to what you were saying originally, just find what works for you, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You just have to find what works for you, because only you would know what kind of food makes you feel good or makes you feel bad or depressed, or, you know, only you would know that. So you just have to find out for yourself by trying new foods and different foods, and that's the only way you would know.
Yeah, I did want to touch also on what you both were saying about our families, you know. So like I'm kind of big on the water. So you know, I got this water machine. It's a Kangen water machine. It uses process electrolysis to make, you know, the water alkaline. You know, so it does it through electricity without adding chemicals and all of that. So like puts a charge back in the water. And you know, I spent thousands of dollars. The machine I got is like, you know, $4,000. You know what I mean? I bought one for my mom in Ghana. I bought one for, you know, I got it here for the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
cool.
It's like you said, you know,
they don't see the value.
The value, and a lot of them are stuck in the conditioning and their habits. You know what I mean? To actually change their diet. But the one thing I did want to say is on the metaphysical aspect, you know, us doing the work for ourselves, within ourselves, it actually impacts all of our family. You know, like, so you living that clean, you know, nutritional, natural lifestyle you live, it has an impact on your mom, your dad, your family. It has an impact whether they even know it or not, because you know, we're all, you know, it's our bloodline. You know, they're a family. You know, we share DNA. We share so much with our family. So it actually does impact them. Like I see with my dad, you know, when I first came around, he was like hating because of my beard. And then all of a sudden, boom, we got a beard. They're calling me crazy because, you know, all of this vegan stuff I'm doing, like, you know, eating sea moss and, you know what I mean? Eating seaweed and eating quinoa, fonio, and all these things that I be eating. They're looking at me like I'm crazy, and then they're like, oh, I got to stop eating red meat.
Bang.
It's so true.
I got to, you know.
It's so true.
And I just keep quiet and I just watch.
So true.
Yeah, for me, it's not even my family that says that. It's people that I meet on the outside that when I tell them, oh, I'm vegan, blah, blah, then they'll be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna try and like limit my meat and stuff. So it's actually other people outside that actually get impacted. Not so much my family. My family is still on the meat grind, you know. When they hear vegan, it's like, what? Vegan? Ew! Like, ugh. What's like, you didn't even try it yet, you know what I mean? Like, they just think the word vegan means like, they don't even want to hear it. So what I do is like, whenever I have like birthday parties for my kids, I usually order vegan cake, but I don't tell them. I don't tell them at all. After they've eaten it, and then I'm like, you know what you just said was vegan cake, right? They're like, what? Oh, wow. It tastes good, but if I told them before that, they'll be like, no, I'm not having that cake. It's vegan, you know?
Of course.
Like they have like a closed mind towards like veganism for some reason. I don't know why, but whatever.
Bias. Yeah. Prejudice, even. Prejudice.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, brother Mel Rich. Yeah, it's true. 100%. I so relate to that. You basically just lead by example. You don't preach to nobody. You don't shove anything down anybody's throat. You just do you. And slowly but surely, that whole, you know, make the change on the inside, the change on the outside that you want to see. It's beautiful, you know. But some people, you know, people being people, we can get stuck in our ways. So no judgment, you know. People are where they are, you know. We're not better or you know, or worse than anybody. But you can just do what you think is, you know, right, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So family.
Is it that time?
Yeah, it's that time to wrap it up like a veggie burrito.
Wow, we've covered a lot. Like, I feel like we've covered so much in a short space of time. That was really cool. So, healthy living, Africanizing veganism. I love that. I so love that. I'm like, whew, yeah, I definitely need to hit me up with some recipes. I think I think that is, I mean, we're talking about Africanizing veganism, or, you know, healthy living, food for life and things. And I think for me, the bigger lesson is what we talk about actually on Uplifted Being Show. Is like, we are powerful creators. So actually there is nothing in this world that we can't use, or to turn it on its head, everything in this world we can use for our good, or we can use it for our destruction. You know what I mean? So things that are out there, it's just your perspective. You can take something and think, yeah, how am I going to use this for my good or for the good of others? You know, whatever you call it, whatever other people call it, whatever their views about it, it's like, it doesn't really matter. As long as you can find something that you feel is right for you, aligned to you, you know, aligns with your truth, and you do that and you pursue that serves so many people, more people than you could even imagine, you know. So literally you can take your life in your own hands. It doesn't mean you want to, you know, necessarily convert or save the whole world. Your world may be your nucleus, you know, your partner, your children. That's enough. You know,
that's true.
I think we can all just look to see, what can I take and make for good, you know. Think about that one.
Alright, dive in here before Sister Abby comes and smashes this thing out the ballpark. So make sure you check out Sister Abby's website, which is abbyayoola.com. That's ABBYAYOOLA.com. And make sure you check out her book, Africanizing Vegan Food. So check this out though, family. Alright, I just want to say, man, let your food be your medicine, because, you know, the state of you know, the society we live in, it promotes this ease, whether you're aware of it or not. You know, that's like the norm out here. You know, if you walk in the coffee shop, you're likely to hear somebody talking about my cancer. my diabetes, my this, my that, and everybody's got something, and they're owning it, and they wear it like it's the thing. You know what I mean? Or they talk about their meds. Oh, you know what I mean? I'm taking this. The doctor gave me this. The doctor gave me that. But you know what I mean? You can heal yourself. You know what I mean? You just gotta be aware of, you know, of your lifestyle, and you gotta have a desire to wanna be healthy. You know what I mean? So I found that powerful what Sister Abby said, and like when I go to the grocery store, you know, I'll only buy a select amount of processed foods. Like damn near nothing is processed. Like, you know, I'm just in the produce section mostly. You know what I mean? And that's just how I like to get it in. And you know, the products I use, you know, I make them myself. You know, I got shea butter here. I got a gang of essential oils. I got baobab oil. Right now I got some black seed oil. I got, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a process, you know, and it's a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Just leaning towards a more natural, you know, way of life.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen tremendous benefits in my own life, and you know, I would recommend it to anybody who just wants to feel better about themselves. You know what I mean? You know, less processed foods and you know, commercial products, and you know, just shift towards nature, man. You know, God is good
all the time.
All the time.
So, Sis Abby, do you have any final words for our listeners? Anything you wanted to share?
Yes, well, just be yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself. Health is wealth, definitely. Without health, you have nothing. Because without health, you can't pursue that career or that business or that partner or have children, you know? Like, without all of that, without health, you can't do any of those things. So always think before you do anything that's going to be detrimental to your health, do I really need to do this to myself or not? Like, do I want to be healthy or not? So you always have a choice. Make the right choice all the time for your own health.
And you want to tell the family how they can get in touch with you, your social media handles, how they can keep in touch with everything you got going on?
Yeah, so my social media is on Instagram. It's Abby Ayoola, so my first and last name. Then my website is abbyayola.com, where I sell like health and beauty supplements and liquid vitamins, books, journals, waist trainers, you know, all those things. And I'm all about health and beauty, man. Yeah. Health and beauty, that's all it's all about.
Awesome. Being healthy is beautiful. Awesome.
Before we close out, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, aplussmoothies.com. That's APLUSSMOODEES. A Plus Smoothies. You know, since we're talking about that vegan lifestyle, you know, go check them out and get some of that pumpkin protein out of them.
All that plus some.
Yeah, actually, I've actually tried these smoothies because I was at the an event, Celebrity Men Who Cook or something like that, in Brampton, and he was there as a vendor. So I bought some smoothies from him. So yeah, I actually have the pumpkin powder, the protein powder.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Cool. Yeah.
Cool. We got a live testimonial. Hey,
yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Shout out to chiefswear.com. You know, your one-stop shop for African fashion and jewelry. Chiefswear.com.
Awesome. And before we go, we say, well, a special thank you to the listeners. Once again, thank you, family, for tuning in. A special thank you to Sister Abby for joining us and sharing her knowledge and wisdom with us. And Brother Dwayne couldn't be here, but he's with us in spirit. Of course, to my other co-host, brother Mel Rich in the building. And yeah, thank you. Check it out. We'll drop the handles in the notes and everything, so you can reach Sister Abby. You know how to reach us, but just in case you had forgotten, upliftedbeing.com, or on Instagram at Uplifted Being Show, on Facebook Uplifted Being. And if you want to join us and continue the conversation, there's the private Facebook group Uplifted Being as well. So check us out, and we want to hear from you, hear your lovely voices. You know, go onto the website, drop us a voice message. We might play it on the show. Yeah, let us know. Is there anything particular you want to hear from us about, or any gripes you have? You know, any points you want us to make? Yeah, just hit us up and drop a message. No holds barred on this show. Everything we talk about is for your good, for your benefit. So yeah, just share. Perfect. And and all that being said, we wish you a good week, and we bid you light, love, and peace.
All right. Thank you.
Peace.
Hey yo, Double D, what's good out here, man? It's looking like, it's feeling like we in the last days, man. It's real crazy out here, man. I don't really know what's going on out here no more. All I know is, man, it's time for change. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to get our minds right, our spirits right, and keep our game tight, man. Drop some game for these young homies, man. Let them know what time it is, bro.
To the lost ones, you'll never understand until you've lost one. Humble niggas flipping when you cross them. Stand up niggas, fix your posture. Bringing all my sins before the altar. Cause as men I know we stumble and we falter. In this corrupted reality where the dollar is more important than your soul before departure. From Adam we return to atoms and it's back to matter. Your consciousness interconnected to your body's plasma. Back to the dimension we came from where the spirits gather. To make that worldly journey back through Jacob's ladder. Just remember you're spiritual, trapped in the physical. Assimilation is programming short, we're only here to grow. So don't fear the road, instead embrace the trip. If everything is empty space then we're just counterfeit. Astral projected from Saturn, we're living miles from it. This too shall pass, so you should smile a bit. It's over in an instant, like momentarily blinking. Post-apocalyptic, that's eyes and our people are shrinking. This roll's a glass of poison, but you just keep on sipping. Trying to fill an empty void, that puzzle piece is missing. It's because you lost your soul's connection. One race, all souls connected. But there's a virus in the matrix, so we're all infected. GMOs in our food and we all ingest it. Where's your council of ethics when you poison my breakfast? CRISPR gene editing, our DNA shouldn't be messed with. Class in session, I just hope you're present. Chemtrails in the skies and now I'm breathing reckless. Terraforming the planet, I can't receive the message. From a godly presence, from an omni-essence, ungodly blessings. Damn. No wonder why we're so aggressive. They took us from our tribes of nature, that's why life's suppressing. I watch men slave away for their worldly possessions. 60 years locked in a cubicle, waiting for pension. Damn. So this one here is for the lost souls. Just save me a touch of Henny at the crossroads. I've been hollering all this weight, I had to offload. Fuck your fraternal order, solid crossbones. Do you really love this world you're in? Drowning in the sea of eternal sin. I hope you see your light within. I hope you shine bright, bright light again. Yeah, 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 light again. Yeah, yeah, shine your light within. Yeah, yeah, shine bright within. Yeah, yeah. Shine your light within.
Yo, the way we living nowadays is ridiculous. And niggas say they speaking but display no significance. Seeing all these pessimists who praising the wickedness. Kids who isn't worried about their grades and certificates. People chasing money but nobody wanna work for. Seems every day you hear somebody getting hurt for. Girls in the clubs, they on them poles and they twerk for it. Cops be on the block and hitting spots with a search warrant. But there's a better life, a heights we could reach to. And I ain't trying to say to live your life like a priest do, but keep it on the level when them goons where your eyes be. Travel with the knowledge, but just move with it wisely. Stop being reckless and watch what the flex is. Food could be bought from what you dropping on your necklace. Visualize the future and I write it in my rhymes. If you know you got a light, then use your light and let it shine.
Do you really love this world you're in? drowning in a sea of eternal sin. I hope you see your light within. I hope you shine bright, bright light again. Yeah, light again. Yeah, shine your light within. Yeah, shine bright within. Yeah, shine your light within. When do you really love this world you're in? Drowning in a sea of eternal sin. I hope you see your light within. I hope you shine bright, bright light again. Yeah, light again. Yeah, shine your light within. Yeah, shine bright within. Yeah, shine your light within. Win.
Thank you for tuning in. Check out upliftedbeing.com and remember to rate, review, like, share, and comment, depending on where you're listening from. Light, love, and peace, family.